Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today it's time for my monthly indie author showcase where I invite authors to submit a video talking about their books and introducing them to you, my viewers. This month I've got an absolute bumper crop of authors for you. I normally aim for 5 authors in each of these videos, and last month I had 6, so one of them got bumped to September. And then this month I had by far my best month yet in terms of videos received from authors. So even with going beyond my normal limit of 5 authors, there are far too many to include all of them today. So I do apologise to the couple of authors who have been bumped to next month, but I'm bringing you videos from 8 different authors today. Before we get into the first of those though, I'll return to August's indie showcase where I featured amongst other authors Alicia Wanstall-Burke, author of the Karaidix sagas, because just very quickly I'll highlight that she has a Kickstarter launching on October the 1st for a hardback omnibus edition of the Karaidix sagas, so you can help support the author and get this great trilogy in one omnibus edition. I've read the entire trilogy and you may have seen that it did make my top 10 fantasy series, so I definitely recommend checking this one out if you haven't already. With that said though, let's go and have a look at this month's authors.
Hey, Vsauce. Joshua here. Fantasy exists for us to experience the thoughts of another, to break free from the bounds of our minds. But what if what's in our heads has been the real fantasy all along? That's the wrong channel. Huh? This is Vsauce. That's right, this is the Dominish Books channel. Thank you so much, Dom, for hosting me and all these other fantastic indie authors. I'm here today to promote my debut epic fantasy novel, An Ocean of Others. So it just came out at the beginning of the month. It is brand new. The first entry in a planned trilogy, although it works pretty well as a standalone book too. It doesn't have any real strong cliffhangers or anything. And in this story, a failed experiment has unleashed the plague across the Bright Empire that's driving the living insane and turning the dead into monsters. We follow the point of view of Grim, the last bounty hunter in the city of Leeuwin, who has no idea that he's about to become the one person who can stop the madness. But can he do it before he loses his mind and becomes a monster himself? I've been lucky enough to receive some kind reviews on Goodreads and Amazon from readers who have praised the genre-bending nature of this book. It's primarily a Dungeons & Dragons-inspired dark fantasy, more on the Dungeons & Dragons side than the grimdark side, I would say. But it blends in elements of mystery, thriller, science fiction, and horror. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would love for you to join Grim and his strange party of adventurers. The book is out in paperback, as you can see here. It's on 99 cents on the Kindle store, and it's available on Kindle Unlimited. Or you can also just sign up for my mailing list on joshse.com, and I will give you a free copy of the ebook. Thanks again for having me, Dom. Be sure to like and subscribe to support his amazing channel, and happy reading.
Hello, my name is Daniel T. Jackson, and I'm the author of Illborn, Book 1 of the Illborn saga. Firstly, many thanks to Dom for allowing me to speak on his channel today. Illborn is my self-published debut novel, and is an epic fantasy story set within a medieval world. You'll be able to find the full blurb and many reviews for the book on Goodreads, but in brief, the story is about 4 young men and women who are haunted by a recurring dream, and who begin to develop supernatural abilities within a world which is threatened by war and religious persecution. If you love rich, epic stories with a deep cast of characters and featuring conflict, intrigue, love, lust, religion, politics, and miracles, then Illborn might be a story that you'll also love. If you'd like to decide whether Illborn could be for you, I always recommend to read the prologue, which is free as a sample on many retailers' websites. Dom also did a fantastic 5-star review of Illborn on this channel, so please check out that video. Indeed, I was greatly honoured when Dom listed Illborn as number 5 on his recent video about his top 10 all-time self-published fantasy books. To give some up-to-date news, I've recently announced that Book 2 of the Illborn saga, titled Age Will Sin, is now finalised and is going to be published on 28th of January 2023. I'm also going to be running a promotion on the ebook of Ilborn for 10 days from 23rd of September to drop the price to 99 cents and 99 pence. If you've already read and enjoyed Ilborn, thank you so much for your support, and I would love for you to continue on with the story. If you've not read Ilborn but are interested, now would be a perfect time to start the series in advance of the release of the second book. I hope that you'll become part of the fast-growing and passionate Ilborn readership. Finally, thank you for listening, enjoy your reading, and keep watching Dom's superb channel. Take care. Goodbye.
Hi, I'm Marlon Johnstone with my new book, Spectacular Silver Earthling. The title character is this robot right here, who is riding the giant alien beastie, while the various humans are trying to lasso it and also film it because he works in space television. He used to be a rescue bot, and he enjoys being able to work in TV and make fun of the humans much more. Much better suited to that. The current place, the new location where they're filming is an alien planet that's very dangerous, which is not that convenient for them because they have to save the show basically by making it really good footage this time. So they have to do very important things, and it's very difficult, and they definitely get some opportunities. Not going to spoil anything for you, but some interesting things happen. And Hubcap there gets to be along for the ride, making fun of everyone with his exceptional sass. And, well, it was a very fun book to write, and I understand it's a fun book to read. I got the original ideas when I was watching a lot of Dirty Jobs and Mythbusters. So, yeah, if you put Dirty Jobs in space, mix in a little bit of Mythbusters, and if you gave Buster the crash test dummy the ability to sass back, kind of like a cross between Bender and Murderbot, then you'd get something like this book. So if any of that sounds worth reading, then you might want to check it out. It's available everywhere books are sold, online, all the big sellers, and your local bookstores can order it in too. And I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you do too. Thanks.
Namaste guys, I'm Gourav Mohanty and I'm the author of Sons of Darkness. If trapped in an elevator with a Hollywood producer, I would pitch my book as the House of Dragon meets the Mahabharata in India's first epic grimdark saga. Set in the vibrant and exotic civilization of ancient India, this book, in a very GOT fashion, follows multiple POV characters. You have a pirate princess hell-bent on revenge. You have an oracle trying to stop the prophesied son of darkness from rising. You have a Machiavellian Littlefinger kind of politician. You have a low-born warrior fighting against the caste system. Name it and you have it. This book has epic convergence in the form of a wedding, which Indian book is complete without a grand Indian wedding, and a battle and a siege which sees a lot of culmination of our characters in one epic brawl. There is a murder trial, there is arson, and there is so much political intrigue and dynastic politics that have ramifications across the continent. If you have liked books like Song of Achilles, but always wished it was slightly darker, slightly more I think Sons of Darkness will be right up your alley. The magic system here is soft and subtle and is based on the ancient Vedic concepts of yoga, mandalas and chakras, and I hope that this will be my certified fresh contribution to the world of fantasy literature. Sons of Darkness was written with the hope of resurrecting the fantasy genre in India, which is ironical and sad because India is the birthplace of fantasy. Think about Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. Almost all the concepts, including the Wheel of Time, are inspired from ancient Vedic lore. So all I can hope is that Sons of Darkness does justice in not only bringing back this genre in India, but also introducing to the readers across the world a new exotic vista to immerse themselves in. Thank you so much for listening to me, and a big thank you to Dominic for throwing a spotlight on my book and giving indie authors like us a chance. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joseph Doliczny. I'm a Bristol-based author. I'm here today to talk to you about my new book, which has recently been published, called The Making of Elements, The Collector's Offer. It's an epic fantasy book, and it focuses on the survival of the Kingdom of Eldertude. A deadly curse released 1,000 years ago has pretty much eradicated civilization, and the Kingdom of Eldertude is hanging on for survival. as the great union of kingdoms has been eroded and now everyone looks to wage war to secure the last surviving resources. King Fidel, the leader of Altitude, is under pressure. Everyone's questioning his leadership, and his people keep getting sicker and sicker each day by the curse. Out of nowhere, he receives a message from the Collector, a madman who made a fortune selling secrets many, many years ago. He lives in isolation now, but he offers the chance of salvation, an answer to the curse and a cure. No one's heard of anything before, but with no other option, King Vidal sends his only son, Prince Xander, across the Borrowed Lands to find out the answers and see if there is a chance to save the kingdom. Prince Xander has his own invested interests, because not only the survival of his kingdom rests on his shoulders, but also the survival of himself, as he too is inflicted with the curse. He's supported by a group from Altitude, have little faith in the prince and even less faith in the leadership, but they must help him and support him to help make sure that their families also survive. If you're into epic fantasy, where characters aren't driven by the need of heroics, but they're making selfish, self-preservation decisions with dark undertones, this is the book for you. I really hope you enjoy it. It's available on Amazon, Waterstones and other publishers worldwide. And feel free to contact me on my Twitter, which is neverstop@MOE. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Dom, for the opportunity to have this part of this video.
Hi, my name is Kate E. Andrews. I'm a fantasy and poetry writer. I have published 4 books, and this is my first fantasy novel, The Assassin of Granted Secrets. It is an adult dark fantasy book. It's about a woman who was formerly an assassin but now is in prison, and she is approached by a prince of a neighboring nation to be his guard in exchange for her freedom. The problem is that his father is the one who started a war with her country and has basically destroyed magic, so she holds a deep grudge against him. This book is filled with a lot of political intrigue, searching for secrets as to why the war started and the disappearance of magic, and her personal quest for vengeance against his father. It's set in a Moroccan, North African-inspired world, so if you're a fan of We Hunt the Flame or Ember in the Ashes, you'll really enjoy this book. It's got a lot of kind of Game of Thrones fighting sequences, synesthesia, and a lot of strong female characters in this book, so I hope you give it a read.
Hello there, my name is Anthony Mitchell and I'm the author of several fantasy novels set in the world of Doliczny. As you can probably tell, I'm in the middle of moving house at the minute, so things are a bit chaotic. With that in mind, I thought rather than watching me sitting amongst some boxes trying to describe my books, it might be a good idea to give you a quick whistle-stop tour of the world in question. So, the world of Doliczny would probably be described as low fantasy, with stories focused on the characters populating the world and the events that govern their lives. Yet it's also a world full of meddlesome gods, monstrous beasts, and the occasional gifted person with talents beyond normal people. It's a fantasy cooking pot filled with flavourings of inspiration from many of the historical cultures I find fascinating. There are the city-states of Polonia, where the old gods dwell, heavily inspired by ancient Greece. The expanse of the Romanesque Lucian Empire, from where the god-emperor seeks to rule the world. Across the seas there's the island of Sudan, where a samurai-inspired warrior class holds all the power. And then there's the scattering of islands in the south known as the Shattered Isle, from where pirates rule the seas. These are just some of the realms found in Doliczny, and they're all mixed with a special blend of the fantastical. Yet our stories begin in the frozen north, where countless nomadic tribes do battle against the last remnants of 2 ancient empires, and where every day is a fight for survival. It's in this white waste that we first meet Braddock, a legendary warrior of the Grey Crow tribe, and title character of the novel Wolf Eater. Dying of a wasting disease and burdened by the blind 8-year-old girl sworn to his protection, Wolf Eater tells the story of Radek's quest to cross a frozen wilderness and face his gods, the Blackstone. However, that's a story for another day. The story I'm here to tell you about takes place the day before Wolf Eater, and it's the first book in a series called Tales from the Doliczny Fireside. The novella-length books in this series will feature a number of stories from the
I'm J.D. Mitchell. I'm the writer of Springtide Harvest. It's a dark fantasy coming-of-age story. It has two main protagonists. One's a very traditional sort of hero. He's tall, he's strong, he sees the world in black and white. And our other protagonist is very much the opposite. She's small, she's jaded, and she just steals to survive. And together they have to navigate the complicated politics of this small border town. While trying to survive the woodland monsters they've been contracted to hunt. In the story itself, it's a coming-of-age story of both characters, for one thing, but also I wanted to approach fantasy as a genre as well. So it's sort of inspired by old-school first edition, second edition Dungeons and Dragons and older games from the 70s and 80s. It uses the characters and the themes to discuss its coming-of-age. How we've come a long way since those times and how things are more inclusive, but looked at from our present world and our present viewpoint. That old game world is it's a very dark place. It's still just an adventure story. I wanted to write a story about a young man particularly, because he's an old style hero he wants to be like his grandfather, who's a hero of the old world. But it's more of a post-war setting, kind of like our own world. The wars are in the past. Things are a bit quieter now, but that doesn't mean things are settled or that everything is okay. Then as they go through having to survive this, the world and the wilderness and the town, both characters need to decide who they want to be and what they're willing to do to survive. That's something we all need to ask ourselves, and it's something that I explore in this book. It's available pretty much everywhere. I published through Ingram Spark and Amazon, so you can find them on all major retailer sites pretty much around the world. If that sounds interesting to you, please check it out. Thank you.
So thank you once again to all of the authors who've submitted videos for this month's Indie Showcase. I do apologise that there were too many, and that A, that made this video a bit longer than it would normally be, and B, of course, there are a few authors whose videos haven't appeared and will be included next month. If you're an indie or self-published fantasy author and you'd like to appear in one of my future indie author showcases, such as this one, do get in contact with me, give me a couple of details about your book, and we'll see if we can get something sorted out. You can send me a message on Instagram, Twitter or Discord, or if you prefer, my email address is listed in the About section here on the YouTube channel. In the description box below this video, you'll find links to all of those social media channels if you do want to connect with me or just follow me for future updates. Also down there, you'll find links to all of the books that are featured today from these lovely authors. That's everything for today though. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you found some new books to go and check out. I'll hopefully catch you in another video soon, but until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books. Bye for now.